Hello, everybody. You have made it. You've made it to On and Off the Field with Derf and Dylan, April 28th, 2020. I could not be more thrilled. I got my chicken tendies and tater tots next to me. I was starving. The wife went to Sonic and got me ice cream. Everything is just great today. The sun's shining. How are you, Derf?
I'm doing a lot better now. Out of work.
A lot better that you're not counting and stuck at a warehouse.
Yeah, doing a bunch of system stuff, but yeah, all good now.
Oh, thank you everyone for joining us on this blessed day on and Off the Field with Derf and Dylan. Make sure you're following on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at On and Off the Field. Facebook is On and Off the Field Podcast. Instagram is On and Off the Field. Twitter is like On and Off the Field too. I don't know. It's a weird thing I have to figure out and fix. Yeah. You can follow on there for your hottest memes. Sometimes I make my own memes. They're great. And NFL news. You can also head over to onandoffthefield.com, read the blog, listen to the podcast, watch the live show. That is on there now on the show tab. And you can just get all the links to your favorite podcasting platforms as well. And then you can head over to RTF Sports Network.com and you can vote for Show of the Month. It's officially over for April. And drum roll, Twist officially won April's Show of the Month. So, in honor of Twist winning Show of the Month, we have all three hosts of Twist joining us tonight on Off the Field to do some draft recap and just hang out with them. It should be a lot of fun. We got 5.3K votes on Show of the Month.
That's a lot.
That's nuts. Awesome. That's just show. I mean, I know like we hardcore got our families and friends to vote. I know Twist was doing the same. Below the Mic had over 2,000 followers on Facebook, so they had oodles and boodles of support.
Yeah.
We fell out. We ended up with like 9% of the votes, but hey, it was just an honor being there. I had fun with it. But we're going to have them on the show today. It's going to be a great show doing some NFL draft recap. And we also got a little bit of NFL news. Nothing crazy because this time of year is kind of slowed down, obviously. But first, let us just get it out there with the fundraiser we're still doing for Feeding America. Since Twist did win Show of the Month, I pressured them into donating. So they gave $5 to the fundraiser. So now we're up to $55. On the actual fundraising page that's on onandoffthefield.com. If you go to the charities tab, then there's a link there below Feeding America. And then, we also had the other 50 given through Facebook and then another 5. So we're up to like 110, if that math's right.
Yeah.
$110 we've raised so far. So
very nice.
It's not our 1,000 goal, but hey, making a difference with every dollar. That's the truth, whether you want to believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's our opening. That's our cold opening there, or warm opening. It was kind of warm. So, we don't really have any other sports news. I mean, the Michael Jordan documentary came out with episodes 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was good. I didn't want to get into depth on it because we have so much to talk about with the NFL.
Yeah.
I know golf is talking about coming back with the Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning golf tournament thing or challenge they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're doing that or not. I think they're basically trying to raise money for the COVID-19 stuff with this charity tournament, play 18 holes. I know golf wants to return. I know they're talking about hockey trying to return, basketball trying to return. Everyone's just trying to return.
Yeah.
I think the NBA originally said May 1st, but then I want to say it was the Phoenix Suns said no, like we're not doing that, and now they've pushed it to like May 8th. So apparently 1 week makes all the difference. I don't know why, but it might. But that's kind of the time frame they're pushing for. Mm-hmm. NASCAR's talking about returning. Everyone's trying to return, and nobody knows why because. I'm going to go off on a tangent, real quick tangent.
All right.
everyone wants sports to return, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's main argument is to stimulate the economy. We need to bring back sports so we can start getting money back flowing, kind of get back to normalcy, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're saying, well, there's not going to be fans at these games. It's just going to be the people playing. We're not going to put fans in danger. It's crushing them into the stands, you know?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that like 90% of the revenue for teams, for the economy, is buying tickets, buying food at the stadiums, buying merchandise at the stadiums? That's the revenue. And you're saying that's not going to be there. So let's not sit here and pretend like we're trying to get sports started for the economy, because that's not real. That's fake, and that's a fake narrative.
Yep.
Just thought I'd get that out there. I don't know if you disagree with that, or have your own take on it.
I don't disagree with it. I mean, what's the point of playing sports when there's no one there to enjoy it, and you're just making network television millions of dollars to play? Like, the teams might be getting a little money off that from their, like, with the NBA and stuff as with their broadcast contracts, but I mean, like, you're not getting, like you said, you're not getting revenue from fans. Like, it's
and you're not going to be bringing back stadium employees,
right? Like,
they're not going to have jobs still. There's not. What are they going to do? All 100 of them are going to mop the floors up if someone falls. I don't think that's realistic.
No. I mean,
maybe they'll just open up all the food stands for the players to just go around and like order pizzas and Slurpees from all the different stands. Open up the beer tents.
There you go. That'd be some interesting background.
Sure. Yeah, why not? I think they did say earlier that they would allow families to come with the players, but even that, I don't think they're going to follow through on that.
Right.
But I've already gone off on my stupid tangent, and we've lost a bunch of time like always, because this is what happens every show. Yeah. You haven't figured it out yet. I always find something to complain about for the first 5 minutes of the show here. Oh, boy. Oh. So, as we dive into the NFL, we had the virtual draft this weekend, which is a very exciting event. I'm not going to lie. Just the intrigue it brought. Mm-hmm. Everyone was interested to see what they were going to do, what they're going to use to fill time. Obviously, they can't just pan over the camera to the audience that's screaming and hooting and hollering. They can't pan the cameras over to the 5 talking heads talking about who might the next guy they might draft is. Mm-hmm. It was going to be a different show, and I think they did. I think it was successful, and there was no technical issues as far as I could tell. No one hacked in and made a team pick a kicker in the first round.
That would have been funny, but it didn't happen. You
didn't hear a GM come out and say, "No, I pushed the wrong button. I didn't want to take that guy. I take it back. I take it back." That didn't. And then we got Bill Belichick's dog making draft picks for him.
Yeah,
that was
why not?
Why not? That was probably a top 2 moment in the draft for me.
Yeah,
to see that dog sitting there, that was absolutely amazing. I think it was just well done. I mean, do you have a personal opinion?
I mean, I feel like it was done well. I don't know if it was just because like the Bills didn't have a first round draft pick, but it was just like, to me, it just felt like it wasn't super hyped. Like it didn't feel super exciting. Like there were some points in the picks where it was like you're kind of like scratching your head, like what's that team doing? Like that's not what they need. And it's not the best available player right there. But hey, they do what they want. But overall, I thought it went really well. I mean, this could be very well become the new norm for some reason down the road if we ever have this issue again. Like they've done a virtual draft and they know it works. So I feel like if there's any other kind of time where this becomes an issue or we can't do this in person, they know that they can go to this virtual draft and have it still be a success.
Yeah, I've heard many people say that this could be the new norm, even if there's not a pandemic going on. People are saying the virtual draft could just be how we do things moving forward. I personally would not like to see that. I think, like you said, you're missing an excitement factor with the screaming crowds and, the draft picks being able to go up on stage, and just the physical element was just kind of missing for me.
Right.
I didn't watch the entire draft. Normally I'm a day 3 watcher sometimes. There's some drafts where I'm super into it. Let's watch day 3. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And this year I did not watch 1 minute of day 3 because I watched days 1 and 2, and I don't know, I was just missing something.
Right.
Especially on day 2 when Roger Goodell decides he's just going to, they pan to him for one of the draft picks and he's just sitting in his chair. He's like we're about to be told a story. And he was sitting upright at least, at the edge of his chair. And then you get a little bit later into the 3rd round and now he's fully leaning back. Like he's just holding onto these cards. Yeah, all right. The Titans take this guy. All right. Yeah, go tie. Okay. It was complete opposite of the normal excitement that you get. Everything seemed laid back and
right. Like you didn't have the walk up of the commissioner to this podium. Like everyone gets excited when they see them walking up. Like I feel like Goodell did a good job. But I also feel like they could have made his role better.
Yeah, they could have. I don't know. They're just missing out on They had the the stupid TV with like 15 fans on it behind them.
Yeah.
And pretty much every single draft pick, you turn around, look at the TV. All right, give me what you got, Jets fans. Yeah, let me have it. Let's hear it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now he announces the pick. Like, there's just nothing there for me, and I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be the norm, but I would understand if you wanted to do day 1 or maybe even day 2, let's say in Cleveland next year.
Yeah.
And then day 3, when you normally have basically no one walking up on stage anymore.
Right.
If you wanted to make that virtual, okay, now I'll listen to the argument.
Yeah.
Maybe even just day 1 is live. I'll listen to that, and I'm okay with that. Kind of split it in half, but I do not want an entirely virtual draft moving forward. I would have no interest in that. That's just my personal opinion.
Right. And I feel like, I think if they were to like take that approach, like do the first 3 rounds like in person and then go virtual, like that last day where not people are paying a ton of attention to that, like people who attend the draft, like you could really kind of promote like NFL activities that are going around, or that are like all the booths they might have set up or something like that. Like promote Play 60, promote United Way with NFL, like get NFL players there to kind of like promote stuff there on that 3rd day, because not everyone's watching. Like keep them entertained, like kind of help that city that they're doing the draft in, like kind of get that extra little oomph to it to kind of make it more interactive and make it a better fan experience. And I know they've done that the last couple of years. Like I know Chicago was a big one and Philly was a big one. But I really think if you think to go to virtual on that day 3, I think they could just do more of that. And I feel like that it's really going to bring in that fan engagement there.
Yeah, you kind of. Once you started that up, and I'm like, I'm in love with that idea, honestly.
Yeah.
And especially in day 3, like you said, like United Way, Play 60, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But even just for the city itself, at day 3, bring in the NFL players. You can bring in, I guess you can't bring in the commissioner. I guess you can't do that, but it would have been nice. Yeah. Bring in a bunch of people and just promote local business.
Yeah.
I mean, go around and have players at businesses that they support, or I don't know, just kind of think that one out. That'd be a great way to get local businesses going. And like that's what I think these drafts do for some cities,
right?
Especially like Philly and Nashville. It brings all these people in, and you want to talk about boosting an economy. Right. That's how you boost an economy for a city, by bringing in thousands of people for the NFL draft.
Yeah.
You lose that with with a virtual draft, unfortunately. But I like that idea. Normal draft for days 1 and 2, and then number 3 you go virtual, and everyone that's still in Cleveland, they can go around and get signatures from willing NFL players, or just do whatever's going on for local business, or play 60 Unite Away. I'm 100% behind this, Fred. 100%. Let's make it happen.
All right, NFL, that's on you now. Let's make it.
Yeah, we're gonna promote the crap out of that. Let's see if we can get Twist to promote that once we bring them in.
All right.
So let us know if you like the virtual draft. You can contact us on social media, or you can join us during the live show on Thursdays from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be on Facebook, and you can let us know your thoughts on the virtual draft. We'll be sure to leave that question up for you on Thursday. But if you want to let us know before then, always let us know. You can contact us from onandoffthefield.com or on any social media platform. If you can find us on Twitter, good luck. For the actual draft recap, we're going to start bringing our guests in here in a moment. But right before we talk about their teams and kind of what they thought, we have a couple different teams we're going to be discussing. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to give a shout out to Trent Williams. Man, am I happy for him. I'm happy for him for 2 reasons. Mm-hmm. Because 1, he's finally out of Washington and he's going to a Super Bowl caliber team, obviously, because they were just there.
Right.
And then 2, the Redskins got screwed on the deal. There were reports early in the offseason that teams were offering first-round picks for Trent Williams, but the Redskins turned them down because they thought they could get more. And here we are. They got a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick for next year for Trent Williams. The 49ers robbed the Redskins.
I mean, I feel like this is what the Redskins get, though. Like, it's the old saying, karma's a beep.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
I mean,
they deserve every ounce of this, 100%. I'm just so happy he's out of there. If you don't know the Trent Williams story, I suggest you look it up. But basically, he had a brain tumor, and the Redskins medical staff told him, "No big deal. Don't worry about it. It's just a bump or something." He said he was getting headaches. They're like, "Nah, it's nothing." He got a second opinion from other doctors outside the organization. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a freaking brain tumor, and he was luckily able to recover from all of that. But and then just the mess of trying to get out of that organization. Finally, he's in a 49ers uniform. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
But as Trent Williams comes into the 49ers, Matt Breida leaves the 49ers to go to the Dolphins for a 5th-round draft pick. And then Marquise Goodwin is going to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 5th-round draft pick that went to the 49ers. So 2 5th-round draft picks picked up by the 49ers in this draft. And they lose one of their 3 really capable running backs. And then Marquise Goodwin, who is replaceable, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. He's good. He's just an average receiver, though, for the most part. So, definitely replaceable.
Yeah, I feel like Goodwin with the Chiefs is a very dangerous receiver because it's an offense built around speed, and that's about all he is very fast.
Oh, yeah.
So with the Eagles, who knows? They got rid of Nelson Aguilar finally, so maybe Goodwin's their new downfield receiver. I think he has better hands than Aguilar, so maybe this will pan out for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And lastly, at least the only other player trade that is worth mentioning, or at least that I noticed, was Quincy Williams is going to the Jets from the Colts, and the Colts got a 6th-round draft pick for him. I think he was a corner, Quincy Wilson. One of our guests could probably confirm that for us. But overall, I mean, going back to the 49ers with Trent Williams, I forgot to mention that. What made this trade even better was it happened almost on the spot because they picked up Trent Williams, stole him for a 3rd and a 5th-round draft pick, and then 5 minutes later, Joe Staley announces that he's retiring from football. So the 49ers obviously knew Joe Staley was going to be retiring, so they called up the Redskins. Hey, we need a tackle. Give us Trent Williams. Okay, here he goes. The 49ers killed this draft. A lot of people are saying the Ravens did very well, which they did.
Yeah.
Some people said the Jets did pretty well. The Broncos did very well with building their offense. A lot of teams are highly rated. I don't know how the 49ers are not the top team overall with what they have collected.
Mm-hmm.
With Trent Williams just replacing Joe Staley basically on the spot. Javon Kinlaw, they traded back a spot and still got Javon Kinlaw. And then they got their wide receiver also in the first round, which was surprising. They took both their picks in the first round. I was not expecting that, but,
right.
Yeah,
definitely.
Obviously, they like him a lot, so that's who they got. I don't know what his name is.
Oh, for the receiver?
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher the last name, but it's Brandon Ayuk from, I believe it was Arizona State.
Arizona State wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah.
All right. I'm surprised they used both their first round draft picks. My hot take was they were not picking in the first round, but they were able to. They didn't have a lot of draft picks in the draft. They didn't pick in the second, third, or fourth round, but they were able to trade back one spot with Tampa Bay, and they obviously did a couple of trades here and there, and were able to accumulate mini draft picks. But overall, I thought they had an amazing draft. We already mentioned that Drew Lock has a bunch of new offensive weapons in Denver.
Yeah.
They like to call them lock and loaded over there in Denver now.
All right.
I don't know if I would take it that far. I think Drew Lock had a okay end of the season last year. I wouldn't go ahead and fit him for his gold jacket yet. Let's calm down. And last but not least, one thing we want to mention before we bring in our guests, the Eagles. I was playing Call of Duty when this pick happened. I had one headphone off while I was playing, and it was the Eagles' turn to pick. Okay, let me just pay attention here because my parents are Eagles fans, and let's see who they're getting. And they took Jalen Hurts, quarterback. Huh. I mean, initial thoughts?
A little surprised. A little surprised that the Eagles took him and that not a different team that was quarterback needy took him. I feel like this is a kind of backup quarterback in your back pocket, kind of your wild card when the game's not going well and you kind of just here, let's throw this out there and see if we can make a comeback or something. But I think he's going to be a gadget player, I think, for the most part for them.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they utilize him. I was shocked at first, but, you sleep on it and you look back and you say, yeah, Carson Wentz missed over 6, I think almost a full season of games, I think 15 or 16 games in his career.
Right.
And having a young, capable, mobile quarterback backing him up, that it makes sense to me. I get it. And then I heard a couple articles say that they picked Jalen Hurts because they were concerned about Carson Wentz getting the coronavirus. Okay. So Jalen Hurts is immune to the coronavirus? Is that what you're saying? I'm pretty sure he can also get coronavirus. So that was a stupid article.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with that conspiracy theory or whatever the heck you want to call it, the tin hat conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick for them. Whether he comes in as a gadget player, I guess I would understand it. Come in for some wildcat plays.
Mm-hmm.
He has good hands. He might go out there for wide receiver every now and then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to doubt it. He's a very athletic young man, and I'm excited to see how it plays out this year. Because I'm sure if Carson can't get through this season, it's going to be decision time in Philly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He has a lot of money, but they already got rid of Nick Foles, and he cost him a pretty penny as well. So the Eagles are not afraid to move on from franchise quarterbacks. But as we wrap up whatever we have to say, we are ready for our guests from Twist, another show on the RTF Sports Network, and winners of April's Show of the Month. Our first guest is going to be a man who loves cheese. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. We're going to welcome in Grenn Bay Greg as I pull him in here, and I believe I did the right clicking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Grenn Bay Greg, are you with us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. And yes, to answer your
Yes,
first
sir.
question.
Awesome.
To answer your first question, yes, I do love cheese. It's kind of a prerequisite growing up in Wisconsin that you must love cheese.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Do you have one of those cheese head hats?
Not only do I have a cheese, of course, by law you have to have one. I also have winter hats for my kids, whom I affectionately refer to as my little cheese heads. So they actually have the flaps and they keep the ears warm, but there's a big wedge of cheese on the top. So yeah, we do have I have plenty of cheese heads.
That's amazing. I hate the Packers personally. As a Seahawks fan, we have quite the history.
Yep.
But I wish my team would come out with something as cool as the cheesehead hats. I'm a big fan of those.
Little known fact that originally was designed to be a serving tray for beer and chips. If you turn over any cheesehead hat on the bottom, they still actually make the same design where it holds a bowl for chips, and then on the side there's 3 coaster slots for beers. They still make them like that.
Oh, wow. Did not know. See, now I want it even more.
Right?
Your audience just got learned.
We always appreciate it when the audience gets learned, whether it's by us or a guest. So we greatly appreciate that information. And I might have to go buy a cheese hat. I don't know if I'm allowed to as a Seahawks fan. I would probably be turned down at the store. But man, do I kind of want one. So thanks for joining us, Grenn Bay Greg. How do you feel about winning Show of the Month? I mean, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels great. It was something that really was cool because we were, sharing it on our Facebook page and talking about it on our show. And it was, it's kind of cool when your family and your close friends are voting, which, you kind of hope they do. But when you start to see that, other people who are watching the show are then going on and voting as well. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that you guys really took off right out of the gate, and we made our comeback. But once Below the Mic came in, we never stood a chance. But I was rooting for you guys since we were fighting you from the beginning. I was definitely rooting for you. I'm glad you won.
He's had over 100 or like over 800 episodes of his show, so he's got a good following. So it felt pretty good that our loyal fan base was really loyal to the vote as well.
That's great to always have that fan base. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's dive into something that you're not as happy about, from my understanding. Yeah, unfortunately, we have to go there. I feel bad, but I have to say the words. Why Jordan Love?
Here's my biggest issue with it. I love the idea that the Packers will think about drafting Aaron Rodgers' replacement. It's something that Green Bay has been fortunate enough for the past 30 years to go from one Hall of Famer to another. The problem I have with this whole idea is the comparisons that are made to Aaron Rodgers taking over from Brett Favre 15 years ago. 2 huge differences. Number one is Brett Favre was talking about retirement for years leading up to this. The Packers had to do something. They had to find. Aaron Rodgers is in the same boat as Tom Brady and Drew Brees, quarterbacks that are approaching the twilight of their career, but talking about playing into their 40s. This goes against everything that Brett Favre was talking about at the time. He was talking about retirement. The other problem I have is Aaron Rodgers fell to the Packers in 2005. The Packers actually traded up to get Jordan Love. Now, could they have stayed at 30 to get him? We'll never know. You hear different things. Someone was going to jump up to take him. You hear different things. But the problem I have with it more than anything else is those two factors. Now, when you look at the pick as a whole, is he going to be a good quarterback in 3 or 4 years? God, I hope so. He's got all the intangibles. He just needs to sit for a couple of years. The problem I have with this is you have two huge needs. You right now made it to the NFC Championship game as the Packers. What your biggest problem was one team, the 49ers. You guys talked about the 49ers and how they killed the draft. We couldn't stop the run on third down, and we couldn't stay on the field when we had the ball on third down. The two solutions to that are a middle linebacker, because we had Blake Martinez last year, and he led the team in tackles, but that was 5-6 yards down the field. We needed an aggressive middle linebacker who was willing to come up, and we had the ability where we could have taken Patrick Queen, who could have filled that role, moving in and plugging up the run. The other problem I have, if you didn't want to go with a linebacker, because they did get, they did work on that later in the draft, and they did take care of a little bit of your linebacker issues in free agency, then you go with the tight end. You could have gone with Cole Kmet from Notre Dame, which would have been that safety valve that Brett Favre always had the luxury of having. He had Chimura, Keith Jackson, Sterling Sharp even played like a split end. Aaron Rodgers has never had that luxury. He's had guys like, last year Mercedes Lewis, and he's had, some other guys, but in the tail end of their career. My biggest problem with the pick was that they didn't address their biggest needs. So I'm a lot less vulgar and violent than I was on Thursday night. I thought I was going to get a disorderly conduct or a domestic abuse charge against me, and I live alone. I was flailing, but I'm showing respect to your show. But no, to answer your question, my biggest problem
greatly appreciated.
My biggest problem was that they just didn't address their two biggest needs. They could have gotten Jake Fromm in the 4th round, or Eason later in the draft. If you're going to pick a quarterback that's going to sit for a couple of years, you don't need all the bells and whistles. So that's the problem I have with the 1st round pick.
Yeah, all those points are 100% valid. And like you did say, the rumors about, teams trading up. I heard the Colts were one of those teams who ended up with Jacob Eason in the 4th round, and Jake Fromm fell all the way to the 5th round for the Bills. And just a couple hours before the draft even started, he was on the show with Pat McAfee. Aaron Rodgers was on the show with Pat McAfee, and saying how they haven't drafted a 1st round talent for him to throw to, an offensive weapon, in 15 years or whatever the number was he gave. And we were talking about it before the show. There was a stat that came out today where Aaron Rodgers has thrown in his entire career 1 touchdown pass to someone that was drafted in the 1st round, and that was Mercedes Lewis. So that was kind of like the back end of his career. I'm not even sure if he's still alive these days, with how old he is, but it's sad. And I took personal offense to it, at least just being an NFL fan, that they disrespected Rodgers in this way, because like you said, he's not ready to retire. He hasn't been talking about retirement. All he wants is a weapon. You get a new coach in here. You think the coach and the quarterback have an understanding. All right, let's give this Hall of Fame quarterback some young weapons in the draft, and maybe we get to the Super Bowl. We get over that hump of the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. Obviously, you have to address the defense first, but you said that they have done that, or at least try to do that. But they completely ignored the offensive side of the ball, getting Aaron Rodgers weapons, and they just said, hey, good luck playing for us for the next 1-2 years. Jordan Love's going to possibly take over for you, and we're probably going to suck for another couple of years until then. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and the biggest problem with the stat that you mentioned, how Aaron Rodgers has, the Packers have not taken an offensive skill position since Aaron Rodgers in 2005. The biggest problem with that really comes down to that Aaron Rodgers has been a victim of his own success. When they came out with the team of the decade for 2010 to 2019, there was a lot of serious talk that Jordy Nelson was going to be on that list as a wide receiver. When you started ranking wide receivers that were consistent throughout an entire decade. And that's a product of Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. But now, granted, it's not just Aaron Rodgers. You can say that about just about any, Hall of Fame type quarterback, that they make the people around them better. The problem with the Packers is they're looking at this now as, well, why do we need to draft specialty skill players in the first round. We have a Hall of Fame quarterback that can turn chicken salad, make chicken salad out of chicken, what. And the problem with that is you're dealing with a guy who's going to be 37 years old this season. You're good at some point need players that are, by all accounts, skilled players, first round caliber players. And which goes into my problem in the second round. In the second round, you get a running back. You have one of the top 5 running backs in the league right now. A.J. Dillon might be the second coming, but right now you have Aaron Jones. What the Packers essentially did was what guys like you and I do in the 12th round of a fantasy football draft. They drafted bye-week backups. You got guys who are going to sit for this year. That's not what you do if you're competing for the Super Bowl. We're not the Dolphins or the Bengals that have a 5-year plan. We're competing every year for the Super Bowl. So I just think that they could have addressed their needs instead of going after, what's going to make them look good in 3 or 4 years. Go after what's going to make you look good in 3 or 4 years in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth with A.J. Dillon coming in the second round. That was probably even more shocking than Jordan Love in the first round.
Yeah.
But we do have to get to your other co-host here of Twist.
Oh, I feel bad for you.
Appreciate you opening up about appreciate you opening up your feelings about Jordan Love in a calm manner and the Packers as a whole. I hope it all works out for them. Not really, because I hate the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, but that's just from a Seahawks perspective. So I appreciate you coming on there, Green Bay Greg.
No problem. You do have Russell Wilson, a former Badger, so I'll give you some credit there.
Yeah, that's true. We have a Wisconsin connection. Thank you. All right, and as we hang up on Greg, we're going to be bringing in Mike Reeves of Twist. I think I unmuted Mike, and as long as Mike is still there.
What up, fellas?
Are you there? Oh, he's there. I love it. I love how this is working so seamlessly.
I love and hate going after Green Bay Greg, because I hate to listen to him for that long, and Green Bay just bores me so much, especially when he comes at you with the cheesehead facts. Oh, my God.
I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of like a calm person. I kind of like the cheesehead facts personally, but I guess if you've been sitting next to him for so many years, I guess I could understand that.
Well, I have a cheesehead too.
Do you really? Do you use it for chips and beer?
No, I spray painted it purple and have horns coming out of it.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Fred, you can do that for the Bills and put the horn on and just do red and blue.
No, I need to get I could do that, or I could get the giant chicken wing or the buffalo wing.
Oh, you have the chicken wing. That's right. See, the Seahawks have nothing. We need something cool.
Well, they have something cool when you play them. They make that same foam hat as a cheese grater, so it's silver and it's a cheese grater.
That's like specific to one team, unfortunately. Like I like it. I like the idea of it. I guess it makes sense if you're playing the Packers. I need something to go year round. I need a Seahawk on my head.
Sure, I get that. Yeah. Anyway, Greg. Green Bay.
Greg's still listening, and he's trying to yell at you right now.
Yeah. Well, he knows. Green Bay and me, we don't mix well. So, but Greg's a good guy. He's part of Twist.
Green Bay Greg is a good guy, and Mike is, I believe, a Colts fan.
I am not. I am happy with how the Colts performed in their draft, but our other co-host Matt got to our squad, the Vikings, for your show before I could. So I just went ahead and went with the Colts for the mere fact of I like the vision of the team. I'm a sports fan in general. So I loved their offseason moves. I think they hit big in the draft, especially without a first-round pick. The way that they're going in the AFC South, I think they have a good chance of, taking the stronghold on there. So just an exciting team, and I think out of all the teams, besides for my squad, With the short amount of picks they had, I think they were up there for biggest winners.
I would pretty much agree with that. Because you bring in Phillip Rivers, and is that really? That's not your long term answer. Obviously, it's not your long term answer. I don't know if you got better with Phillip Rivers. A lot of people feel like they did. I'm not a Phillip Rivers fan. I feel like when he throws a ball, it looks like he's shooting shot put for track and field. One of his worst games ever is just burned into my skull when they played Kansas City in Mexico. And apparently they didn't like him as an answer long term, so they have Jacob Eason now. I mean, it was a value pick in the 4th round. I mean, they have to be pretty happy with that, right?
I couldn't believe that he fell. Matt, who will be on next, is more of a Fromm guy. I love the 6'6", 230 frame with that big cannon. I mean, last year he threw for 3,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 picks. The nice thing for him is he gets to sit behind Phillip Rivers for a year. There's no intention for the Colts to play him, and it'll be his team after that. So the fact that he fell to them in the 4th to get their heir apparent was perfect for them. They didn't have to get a top 10 draft pick to get the future.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of goes for almost all the teams with quarterbacks. I mean, Tua gets to sit behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, whether some people might think that's a good thing or a bad thing. At least you still have a veteran presence. Fromm gets to sit behind Josh Allen. Again, at least Allen's been in the league for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is going to have the Chargers organization as a total. Tyrod is a veteran, not as much as a starter, but he might get to sit for a year there. It just seems like all of these guys have homes where they get to learn, and definitely being behind Phillip Rivers is a great opportunity for Eason.
Well, you started to see a little bit of a trend this year in the draft with teams like you touched on it with Philly taking Jalen Hurts and Buffalo taking Fromm. They're taking high-level prospects when they have young quarterbacks. I mean, these quarterbacks are not going to take the starters' positions, whether they're using it for trade bait down the road or just want a quality, backup quarterback in case of injury. But it's smart for their ends. I wasn't happy that Hurts went to Philly. I'm a huge Jalen fan and wanted to see him go to a team where he could really, shine.
He might be able to shine if Carson Wentz gets killed again on the field. You never know.
That's true. He can't stay healthy, so
he might get his chance. You never know. But that is another player that we did talk about a little bit before, but I also like Jalen. And I thought everyone connected Jalen Hurts to the Patriots. I connected Eason to the Patriots, and I was absolutely blown away that the Patriots did not get Eason, and especially in the 4th round. I was flabbergasted, some would say.
Well, that's Bill Belichick just thinking he can do, what Bill Belichick does and just mold, clay into rock, basically. But yeah, I mean, for the Colts, I truly thought they killed it. They had the trade with the Niners, got out of the 1st round, but they got DeForest Buckner, who's an absolute beast. And then to come in swinging immediately in the 2nd round and pick up my favorite receiver in the whole draft, Michael Pittman Jr., 6'4", 228, went over 100 catches last year, 1,275 yards, 11 touchdowns. He's comparable to a Mike Evans out of Tampa Bay. Same type of frame, same type of speed. So you really get a nice number 2 deep threat red zone guy. Next to your T.Y. Hilton, you also have Zach Pascal and Paris Campbell at wide receiver. Paris, they drafted in the 2nd round of last year's draft, so they really have some good depth there. Their next pick in the 2nd round was a huge shocker for me, seeing as they had Marlon Mack. They picked up Green Bay Greg's guy, Jonathan Taylor, out of Wisconsin. And this guy's a beast. He ran a 4.39. He's a 5'11", 220 running back, rushed for over 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns. Now the question in Indianapolis, especially with Nyheim Hines and Jordan Wilkins kind of already set in that running back rotation, is what do you do with Marlon Mack? And to me, I think he's great trade bait, as well as with Jacoby Brissett. to either bring more players to the team or to add draft capital for next year. So, when you start your draft off with receiver, running back, and quarterback of the future, especially if they hit on them, it's a no-brainer. It's huge.
Yeah, that offense is on paper. Like we all said on paper, Cleveland looked good too. But
Yeah.
on paper, it looks like that Colts offense, which struggled at times, especially after Andrew Luck retired, and even when Andrew Luck was there, it looks like an offense that could be set for success down the road for the next 3-4 years with all these rookies coming in. It would be great for this offense to learn with a vet, to learn the offense. And Eason comes in next year, and then everyone knows what's going on, and they don't miss a beat, and everyone's just younger out there. I think they have definitely done a very, very good job, just in the offseason in general, between free agency and the draft, 100%.
Yeah, and they solidified their defense a little more, which is stout. They have one of the best linebackers in the game, and Darius Leonard. Justin Houston, defensive end, coming off an 11-sack season. Like I touched on before, they added DeForest Buckner, Sheldon Day, defensive tackle, Xavier Rhodes. You guys mentioned earlier in the show Quincy Wilson, who they did trade with the Jets and ended up picking up another cornerback with that pick, Isaiah Rodgers out of UMass. Ran a 4.28 40. He's a slender fella, but he's also one of the top kick returners in the 2020 class. So besides for that, I thought it was well-rounded. One of my sleepers of the draft they picked up in the 6th round was Jordan Glasgow. And, he comes from the NFL pedigree, kind of like the Watt brothers, like Greg would like to say, but he's got 2 brothers, Graham, who was a 3rd-round pick from the Lions in 2016, and Ryan, a 4th round for the Bengals in 2017. So has that blood running through him with the NFL. He'll start on the special teams, but get some playing time at linebacker down the road for him.
Yeah, I was going to say Glasgow. That sounds like a familiar name, and then you touched on all of it for me. So yeah, that name for some reason seems like I should know what it is. So I think it was said Ryan for the Bengals. I think is the one that I'm more familiar with for some reason. I don't know why that sticks out to me, but it does. Well, Mike, thanks for giving us some insight on the Colts and maybe a little bit on some other teams, and reminding us that with all the moves that they've made this offseason, and we always appreciate your time, and we want to thank you for your donation to our Feeding America fundraising cause. We saw your donation there, and we very much appreciate that.
Of course. Anything to help a good cause.
And also, just last but not least, congrats to Twist again for winning April's Show of the Month on RTF Sports Network.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again for being on. And we are going to bring in our last guest here, Matt of Twist. Hello, Matt. Are you ready to roll?
Let's go.
Yeah, there he is. He's excited.
Seamless, dude. It's seamless.
Yeah.
This show is seamless. Derf, I want a big shout out to Derf. Huge fan. Love what you do, buddy. Keep going.
Thanks.
No problem.
We love Derf. He made this show what it is.
Oh, he's great.
Before Derf got here, it was just me talking for an hour. It was just like, Derf comes in
on the burrito. You're the burrito. He's the hot sauce, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, is it like what kind of hot sauce?
Well, I prefer Tepito. That's kind of my thing, but
so like real hot sauce. Okay.
Yeah, the real deal.
We have a different kind of hot sauce out here.
What's that?
We have it's called hot sauce, but it's like meat sauce.
Oh. Okay.
We put it on our garbage plates.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a little different. But okay, I just had to clear that up. But yes, Derf is definitely our hot sauce, whether it's the meat sauce version or the panitas version. He is 100% hot sauce.
Muy caliente. There you go.
Well, I guess I'll start out by saying congratulations again. As I've congratulated your other 2 co-hosts of Twists.
Yeah,
congratulations on winning Show of the Month.
Thank you very much. I mean, it was a grind. I know we talked a little bit before the show, and it's nice to be able to stop harassing family members and fans every day for almost a complete month. So we fought hard. We got the W, and it's an honor. But it's more of an honor to be on today with you guys. That's what it's all about.
Well, we're honored that I put out a Facebook post, and within minutes, like 4 or 5 minutes, pretty much all of y'all were messaging me. Let's do it. Let's go. Like,
yeah, RTF Brotherhood, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love your show. I'm glad that you're here to talk with us. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we are talking Vikings today.
Yeah, Skull, baby. So, yeah, it was an awesome draft, an interesting draft at that. I mean, when you go into a draft and you draft 15 dudes, that's not including the undrafted. You draft 15 guys, that's crazy in of itself. But I'm happy with the draft. I feel like we filled a lot of needs and brought a lot of competition into the depth charts. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was just shocked, and I wasn't following the Vikings too closely between day 1 and 2. And I mean, I just look at the Vikings and instantly think Kirk Cousins and go, I don't. They're not doing anything this year. But then the stat came out. Yeah, sorry about that. That was a little bit of a shot. My bad.
That's all right.
I shouldn't
That's
be
football,
digging on
baby. That's what we love. Yeah.
This is normally a very calm podcast. I don't know what came over me there.
That twist is rubbing off on you a little bit. That's what's happening.
Yes. Oh boy, that's a good thing. Add a little bit of edge to on and off the field. But when day 3 approached, I had to read it twice because I just didn't believe it. When the notification came across saying, watch the Vikings today because they have 13 picks on day 3. What in the ever-loving God how did that even happen?
Yeah, that's really it's called the Pokemon strategy, where you really want to catch them all. I think we really stockpiled there and hoarded a lot of picks. I mean, if you think back to 2017, the Vikings actually moved back in that draft 5 times and picked a total of 11 players. I mean, that's when they were aggressive in the second round, and they moved up and took Dalvin Cook, and then they moved up and took Pat Elflein. So I thought that strategy was going to get into effect again, but either they got aggressive and they tried to play the game and it just didn't pan out. Then Spielman basically went straight to throwing darts at a dartboard and just doing the whole, strength in numbers thing. I mean, it's not often where a team will pick more players in a draft than the Bears have tight ends. So, I mean, for that to happen is pretty impressive in of itself. But I still feel like, I mean, you look into the first round real quick and you see, Justin Jefferson falling to us at 22. I don't think we necessarily wanted to take a wide receiver in the first round. But when a guy like that, of that caliber and that draft grade falls to you and it's a need of yours, you fill it. I mean, you went best available with the need at the same time. So that's pretty awesome. I like that pick. Then you go down, you moved back, and you still got my guy who I wanted in the first round, who was cornerback Jeff Gladney out of TCU. I mean, if you want to see some tape on a guy, go watch Gladney literally take CeeDee Lamb out of a game. Like, just lock him down, rent space in his head. I mean, CeeDee is a beast, and you got a guy like that who can shut him down. That's awesome. Obviously skipping down one more, you got Ezra. What a first name in of itself, Ezra Cleveland. I mean, that's corn. It
just sounds like a success story waiting to happen.
Corn-fed right there. Like, that's who you want on your line. I love that pick as well. So those, between Gladney and Cleveland, those are the guys I wanted to be at the top of our draft board. Justin Jefferson was simply a bonus.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the Eagles pass on the first round. The Eagles are sitting there. Wow, I can't believe they got Justin Jefferson at 21. That's insane. Oh, nope, where they're going to take. Hold on, let me Google this guy real quick because that's absolutely stunner right there. So that was a steal for them in the first round. And then, like you said, they addressed their needs, which is always amazing. Value picks and addressing needs is what every GM and coach, that's their wet dream.
Yeah.
Getting Justin Jefferson there, and then again their corner that you mentioned, being able to replace Xavier Rhodes,
Exactly.
and then Justin Jefferson replacing a mix of Treadwell and Stephon Diggs. And as I mentioned, Stephon Diggs.
Greg could replace Treadwell, so that's okay there. I mean, but yeah, he definitely does bring that presence of a number 2, which is exactly what he is right now, starting out as a rookie. He is a number 2. He wasn't meant to be a number 1. I'm glad he didn't get drafted to a team that was expecting him to be a number 1, because that's not him, you know. But it's nice to give Thielen some competition out there and get some eyes on the defensive side of the ball off of Thielen, because that's our bread and butter. So, you know, other than those picks, I mean, you really look down the board. You got James Lynch that we drafted at the 130th pick. I mean, he's the all-time leader for sacks for Baylor, defensive tackle. I love that pick. And then another sleeper that we had was going to be Kenny Wilkes, Michigan State. He fell to the 7th round, 225. I mean, that in of itself is crazy. He led the team and ranked 5th in the Big Ten with career high of 10.5 sacks as a senior last year. And he is the only player in program history to be named the team MVP twice. So that's the 3rd round talent. We got him in the 7th round. I'm happy with the draft. Like you guys said, you know, how many picks do you need? Why didn't you move up? Obviously, something didn't pan out, and they just did with the best what they could with what they had. So a little better than the Green Bay aspect of who knows what. So
you got to be pretty happy there. And from all bases that I heard, it was supposed to be a trade heavy draft, and I think if I had any guess, the virtual aspect of this cut down the trades significantly is probably my guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and just a lot of people, once they got through the first 2 rounds, they really had to do some investigating on who are these guys that are left. I mean, you didn't have pro days for a lot of these guys. You just had to go to the tape. So these guys were probably all over YouTube trying to figure out what was going on. So interesting draft, happy with it, and yeah, excited for the hopeful season.
Yeah, hopefully a season that happens. I'm got a lot of hype going into this season for all of our teams, for sure. I'm very excited. So definitely. I just appreciate you coming on the show again. I can't be more thankful for just the entire Twist crew coming on. Thank you all. And I hope that your season is successful in the rest of your off season. Don't kill Greg. And, you know, he seems like a nice guy. That's just me.
Yeah, it's just his allegiances, but that's all right. He would say the same about us. But we're all brothers, and we appreciate you letting us come on today. And I hope you guys stay well. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Same with you. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And that was Matt from Twist. All right, Derf.
Yeah.
I mean, that was good. Great guess there. I mean, that was amazing.
Really good guess, yeah.
So if you guys just listen to this episode of On and Off the Field and you thought, wow, those guests were better than the hosts of this show, then go check out Twist. Twist on Facebook, Twist on the RTF Sports Network, and just give them a check out, because they're obviously amazing, because they're show of the month. So go ahead and give them more support. And they also were able to donate to our cause of feeding America, which is also just amazing of them. So we will definitely get to the Seahawks and the Bills on our live show. If you tune in on Thursday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing some heavy Bills and Seahawks draft recap, also as well as I believe we're going to have some Patriots fans on, a Buccaneers fan, and then an extra Bills fan that was supposed to join us tonight, but we unfortunately had to push him to Thursday. But it's still going to be a great, great show. So thank you all for tuning in to On and Off the Field, and we appreciate Twist again coming on. Derf.
All hail the Jock Strap King.